If you've paid enough attention in history class, chances are you've heard of something called the Encomienda System in your chapter about the Atlantic opening. In our modern society, we are often reminded of the terrible history of the Atlantic and intercontinental slave trade of Africans. However, there existed many different forms of slavery throughout history, including that of Native Americans. And despite the topic being important, it has commonly been ignored and glossed over. So, in pursuit of raising awareness for the oppression natives faced against early American colonists, we'll be diving into early American history, and I'll be talking more specifically about the Encomienda System itself. To put things into context, it's the early 16th century, and Christopher Columbus just recently discovered the Americas from traveling across the Atlantic Ocean. Upon arrival in what we now call the Bahamas today, he found new resources, plants, and fruits that he could make a profit from. Of course, he later found out that such abundant land wasn't left unclaimed, as he came in contact with indigenous people. Though Columbus and his crew had peaceful relations with the natives at first, as many years passed, natives faced total enslavement. The Encomienda System was a formal relation system of forced labor that started in Spain and was brought to the Americas to control labor. It originated from the Reconquista of Muslim Spain, where Spaniards wanted to find a way to convert both Jewish and Muslim residents to Catholicism. Encomenderos were the name given to Spaniards who were sent to the Americas and entrusted with the task of handling the Encomienda System. The very first official example we have of the Encomienda System dates back to about 1502, with Nicolas de Ovando, the next leader after Christopher Columbus. In the beginning, the system somewhat benefited both parties. Natives would give their labor, and in return they would receive protection and the benefits of Catholicism. Though Catholicism may not seem like a very significant motive for colonization, the rise of Protestantism in Europe became a major threat to the Catholic Church, and from then on, it became their goal to spread Catholicism to as many people as possible. However, over time, the terms of the agreement began to change, and encomenderos no longer provided protection to natives, but rather threatened them if they didn't work hard enough. Punishment became a common practice for encomenderos, and violent habits took over. Catholicism was no longer an option, but was imposed on Native Americans with force, leading them to abandon their culture and religious beliefs. Though the cruelty of the system was undermined by most, it did not go unseen completely. Some encomenderos, such as Bartolomé de las Casas, saw the effects that the Encomienda System had on natives. Las Casas, after traveling to the Americas and witnessing the result of the system, released his encomienda and spent the rest of his life advocating new laws for the natives to the King of Spain, Charles V. In 1512, after finally receiving the letters Las Casas had sent, the king responded to Las Casas' call by writing the laws of Burgos that defended the rights of natives. Unfortunately, because of the great distance between Spain and the Americas, the king had very little power over the colonies and couldn't stop the encomenderos' violence and cruelty. However, this wasn't the end for Las Casas. On the 15th of August, 1550, Bartolomé de las Casas fought for the rights of Native Americans against another humanist scholar, Juan Guinness de Sepúlveda. This was known as the Valladolid Debate. The result of a year-long debate was sadly a stalemate. Neither party got the outcome that they had hoped, and the enslavement of natives persisted for centuries. Overall, we can determine that both slavery and the idea of a racial hierarchy both started with the enslavement of the natives. If not for that, there never would have been a need for African slaves, and there would have been no Atlantic slave trade whatsoever. This is one of the reasons why native enslavement is really important to history, because it changed its course incredibly. Today, we still face some of the effects of racism in our modern society, but we can still make an effort to fight against it by learning more about our history. As Winston Churchill once said, those who fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it. That's all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and learning more about the Encomienda System and Native American slavery. I hope you all have a nice day. Goodbye.